Show on the road and get everything going as we like it, and get everything going as we like it. Amazing Grace. All right, I think I'm lying. But why is it? I mean, I know why. It's because there's no deals on it, and it's an old game, and they're not really going to shrink the price, especially if it has gotten like a wave of momentum. I'd say for like the past month because people have been streaming it. I don't know why. I just know it's gotten momentum over these past few months. And people have been streaming it. And it kind of made me want to stream it. I'm like, whoa, I haven't played this game in a while. Might be fun to play this game. And I did. And I enjoyed it. Have you been playing the new Sonic and Shadow game? Dumbass, do you know that game's not out yet? Are you aware that game's not available yet? Are you aware of that? Are you aware that game's not there yet? Are you aware of that? Why do I see someone chatting but I can't see it? There it is. There it is. It's because I didn't have all of it on. I didn't have all of it on. Do you still use VHS tapes?
They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
I wouldn't be opposed to using a VHS tape. Be awesome to fucking do, you know, man. It would be awesome to have. But we're on a mission, folks and folkettes. I just got finished playing the third season of The Walking Dead, and it was awesome. And you know, awesome game, awesome franchise. I still use VHS tapes. Good. They're a form of media that I'll always enjoy. I'll still hold those memories of being excited, seeing the cassette, the VHS tape going into the VCR, and it's struggling to turn on as everything hold dear. But let's laugh at alt-right tech, shall we? I think it'd be good to do. To laugh at some alt-right tech. Because I think we could all agree that in the wave of a lot of conversation, let me turn this off. In the weight of a lot of conversation regarding media and how bad the media is or how good the media is, people want to get away from the mainstream media sources or social media platforms because they suck. They control your speech. They restrict the things you have to not have to, but want to say. And you want to go to a place where you don't have those restrictions. You want to go where everyone knows your name. Correct? And you know what? That's fine. But I keep telling y'all that in a world like that, there's restrictions. There's restrictions that'll have to be met at some point in time. And if you don't want to fucking rationalize yourself with that, then you're going to come to the realization that, yeah, a lot of shit sucks. But I saw this video. It's from 7 months ago. But I saw it and I want to watch it. And I want to put all of you through it as well. But before that, I'm going to go grab something. Make it all fair. And I'm back. Money being number one. No matter what anybody says, like you're going to, any business is going to have to start like making money to make sure everything's good. The freeze frame, that's literally the beginning. It's not even my choice. I didn't do this. This is how his video starts. It's not died.
Something you might not know is that there's a whole ecosystem of websites dedicated to the most oppressed groups in our society, conservatives. And
how am I doing today? I'm doing fine. I'm doing as best as one could do. You know what everybody should do before like the sun goes down? Oh my God. You know what everybody should do before the sun goes down today? Go outside and just stand outside and smell that air. Oh, it feels so fucking good outside. It really feels so fucking good outside. It really does. I've seen this video tossed around my algo. I've never seen it, and now I want to watch it. Oh my God, you can make a Lego house? Ooh. I can't, I'm sick. That's a poor man's excuse. Be ashamed of yourself. Hard work, dedication. It's cold outside and it smells like dog shit. Well, it's because you probably got a dog that took a shit. That's how you solve modern issues.
And while you may love these websites, well, that's not right. And while you may love these websites, there's something wrong with them. You just can't speak your mind anymore. The big tech monopoly is clamping down on our free speech.
Yeah, you know, if you're somebody who just like blatantly says a bunch of untrue shit, I think you deserve to be facing a consequence for it. You know? I do believe that should be the avenue people start taking in regards to this, because I'm getting tired of a lot of people lying for the sake of it. Case in point, I said it on Twitch. I'll bring it up here just for the fuck of it. How many of you are aware that I have a second channel? I have a second channel. It's called Ruin Leon. I don't know how many of you know about that. But today, I put this friendly face up. And I said, today, you might see people claiming that the woman pictured below is going to jail for just praying at an abortion clinic. Don't believe those people. Now, you got some people confused. You got some people who are like, so are you going to tell us the reason why? Just know, whenever somebody tells you that someone went to jail or that they're going to jail for just doing some basic thing, your bullshit detector needs to go off. Nobody with a functioning brain is going to hear, this woman is going to jail for only praying at an abortion clinic, and they're going to say, oh my God, I agree. There's going to need to be questions asked here to inform oneself about, what's that word? Oh, Natanya put it in context. And listen, here's your context. In 2020, we all saw a bunch of people burn buildings, break into buildings, steal products, all for the sake of black lives who they don't care about unless they're reminded to care. And we all agreed, wrong, and they should face punishment, right? Pretty certain we all agree with that. You shouldn't be burning down Wendy's and breaking into stores and doing all that, thinking that that's your reparations. You should be facing consequence, right? Now imagine someone, you can choose to think it's the person on the screen, and I won't judge you because you're correct, is threatening to terrorize a building, calling people murderers, and crushed someone's hand using a door. Don't you think that that's more than just praying? You see, because when I'm thinking the words just praying, I'm thinking it's somebody probably standing in front of the building praying. Maybe they're on their knees. That's just praying. When you go past that, threatening to terrorize buildings, threatening to bring more people, saying something alluding to bringing war, yeah, you're not just praying. You're not doing that. So you might see people run around and say, this woman was just praying and they took away her speech. You may see people trying to sit there and blame, for some reason, Kamala and Biden, even though all this happened during Trump. You might think that. And if you do think like that, I'm going to just let you know that you got real bad perspectives on this world. And you probably need to do something different with your day. You need to seek out, what's that word? More research. Because I promise y'all, just listening to YouTubers who tell you but don't show you, it's some hilariously dangerous shit. And you know what? I'll even give you a snippet of the video. I'll give you a little snippet, a little snippy whippy. I'll give you a little snippy whippy. Can I put this right here? Well, I can. At least I think I can. Can I put this right here? Let's see. And then I go here, and then I transition to here. Right? Did I do it? I don't think I did it. Damn it. Yeah. It didn't work. My shit didn't work. It didn't work. Hold on. I think I got it. How about now? Nope. Now? Nope. God damn it. Oh, wait. I know how to do it. Wait a minute.
How many times?
There it is. Oh, watch this. There it is. There go me. And I put the pink hat on. But I want to illustrate to y'all. I want you to see this part. Hold on. You can just see this part. Nice and tenderly and say this. You are fucking absurd lying about this woman, acting as if all she did was stand and say abortion is wrong and hold a picket sign. And how could she go to jail for that? You are contributing to, what's that phrase? Misinformation. And you're spreading it, thinking that a bunch of people are now going to protest, when in reality, you motherfuckers are just going to sit on Twitter, bitch, moan, and groan, and move on to the next subject. You don't actually care. You just need some likes on social media.
She didn't get arrested or charged for any violence.
The reason I put pause to read right there. Now, you might think that's his video. And it is his video. Those are screenshots I put in front of his face. Because throughout his entire stream, he doesn't show anything. He's just talking about how this is unfair and she did this and she did that. He doesn't show you anything. He tells you about one document that I put on the screen, but he doesn't show you that one image to the left, that one image in the center, and that one image to the right. You can pause to read all of that.
They claim that she slammed the door inside. She slammed the door on one of the volunteers' fingers or something like that. No, that didn't happen. On her paperwork.
Any proof of that? Funny how he ignored the other documentation. He ignored that. He didn't even pull this up. But you know who did? Me. My bad. I still respect a lot of y'all time.
It's nothing but unlawful assembly. Unlawful assembly.
Or some attention in general, because clearly I'm excited. Yo, what's up, U-bound or Oi-bound, however you pronounce that. Shit! All right, where is it? All right, back to this.
And we just can't have that because diversity of ideas is the most important kind of diversity. The first thing we gotta fix is that libcuck browser you're on. Chrome? You can't give Google that kind of control over your life. It's time to introduce you to the Tusk browser. This baby can fit so much free speech in it. Now, there's just one problem. I mean, this looks oddly familiar. Tabs, menu, settings, general format. Okay, they're not exactly the same, but I think you get the point. The reason that they look so similar is because they're both built on Chromium, which is Google's open source browser builder. Google's big tech monopoly is so powerful that the Freedom browser was forced to use their tech. Okay, the actual reason that Tusk was built on Chromium is because Chromium's kind of like the browser version of Pasta. You can do a lot of wonky shit to it, and it'll still turn out pretty well. In fact, a vast majority of browsers that you actually use are probably built on Chromium. I looked up the top non-Chromium browsers just to give you an idea of how rare they are. So first there's Safari, which is created by Apple and is proprietary, so I don't really think it's in the same category as the others. But then there's Firefox, which is as old as the dirt. It's been around since 2004. But at this point, the recognition level of non-Chromium browsers kind of falls off a cliff, okay? Stick with me here. Have you ever heard of LibreWolf, Molvad,
I've heard of none of these.
GnomeWeb, Pale Moon, Waterfox, Sugon, SeaMonkey, Midori, K-Melion, and Otter? I
None!
haven't even heard of any of those. I mean, you didn't notice when that list was infiltrated by a D's Nuts joke. Building a new browser from scratch might have been really useful and actually helped out the users, but Tusk is so similar to Chrome that some nerd interviewed by Tech News World said,
"This is more of a PR operation than an actual transformation of how people are going to use the web."
The problem with this thing is that it's actually worse than a PR operation because uBlock doesn't work on it, and the first 4 results of any search are ads. In addition to that, there was a very NSFW ad plastered on the sidebar. But in a way, I'm kind of glad that I got to see ads on this browser because it let me know that whether you're young or old, Democrat or Republican, liberal or conservative, there will always be hot milfs in your area. In 2015, Reddit decided to actually moderate its platform, banning subs like Fat People Hate and hosting a discussion where they said they didn't create Reddit to be a bastion of free speech. This led to angry Redditors flocking to lookalike site Vote.
Because no one wants to fucking deal with you motherfucking incel haters fucking polluting their website with anything. They just want to fucking have basic. Yeah, a lot of people come into shit wanting it to be peaceful and nice and sweet and all this shit. And the problem is, it doesn't, because a lot of motherfuckers come in and just run roughshod.
Apparently, Vote was actually quite popular for a bit. I mean, not that popular. I would show you the interface, but the site is incredibly dead right now. But apparently, Vote was terrible. There are reports of harassment, doxing, hate speech, and I know what you're thinking. What makes it different from Reddit? The site got so bad that the CEO got contacted by a US agency about threats posted to Vote.
Because when you have people not being monitored, it leads to problems. Which is why the overall consensus with alt-right platforms is that it's a den full of people saying shit, wanting no consequence. Problem is, people gotta worry about their bottom line before they worry about your fucking random talking.
Reply to the founder sharing this news was an anti-Semitic slur and a call to, yeah, that. And further replies in the thread were threats on specific synagogues. Vote was nearly shut down many times because it had virtually no way of taking in money. First, it relied on user donations, then it relied on a wealthy investor, and finally, the founder drained his own bank account to keep the site up. I know the site's user base would probably love to say that it was Aryan and proud, but with this much money trouble going on, let me tell you, they were all Greek. And after 6 years of miserable operation, Vote decided to shut down on Christmas Day of 2020. Of course, on the post where the Vote CEO announced the site would be closing, the commenters called him a Jew. I know a couple sites that are like Vote floating around the internet, but they are so small, I don't want to give them any kind of exposure by talking about them on my channel. I really hope that this video gets between 40 and 400 views. But these sites have less users than that.
Fewer.
Fine, Stannis.
It ended up getting 700,000. Good man.
Fewer. Well, Vote could have set up a GoFundMe to stop themselves from going down. Unfortunately, GoFundMe has gone woke, consistently taking down pledge drives like the one from the Freedom Truckers. The brave patriots out there have taken it upon themselves to find a new way to crowdfund, bravely founding platforms like WeSearchR, GoWhyFundMe, and Hatreon. And I know you don't trust me because of the Sugon incident, but I didn't make up any of these platforms. Hatreon is a real thing. Also, this is the first of many incidents that happened making this video where I came across a word and I didn't know what it meant. And I just want to let you know that every time that happened, it was always a slur for Jewish people. But at least the right-wing patriots of this country have a way now to get the funding that they need. Oh my God, how'd they get all of you? So the problem with setting up crowdfunding sites is that while you can escape GoFundMe's rules, you can't escape their limitations. As it turns out, Visa wasn't too happy with these sites using their payment network. And as soon as they pulled the plug on them, these sites went kaput. So now if you want to give your money to something hateful, you've got to stick to doing it the old-fashioned way.
Paying for it. Oh, he said going to Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Another alleged grift that's being pulled in the alt-right tech space is called the Freedom Phone.
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm the world's youngest Bitcoin millionaire. I made it in Silicon...
Look at this fucking geek. Who the fuck? I wouldn't trust you with lube, you Diddy enjoyer.
Dropout's pitch is getting mad about Twitter banning Trump, and he tries to prove that it was wrong with this analogy.
If they censor a president, it will censor anyone. Imagine if Mark Zuckerberg censored MLK or Abraham Lincoln. The course of history...
These are drastically... This is a bad comparison. Imagine if Martin Luther King were still alive and they censored him, or if Abraham Lincoln got censored. These are bad comparisons for reasons that make hilarious sense.
History would have been altered forever.
Isn't it crazy how he could have picked any two people in history, and yet he picked two people that conservatives actually managed to cancel? Stay in school, kids. And personally, I think he's doing a huge disservice to the other side of this argument. Like, what if Twitter had banned this guy? Or this lady? How about this guy? The lack of any sort of historical knowledge isn't the only reason this video didn't age well.
Name one time in history where the people who banned books, media, and opinions were the good guys.
So...
You see how... You get me? Do I even need to say it? Now, I don't want to assume this man's political leanings, but, name a time when motherfuckers banning books were the good guys? That's bad. That's bad. Funny how things line up certain ways, huh? Funny how that goes. Just overall funny how that goes. I'm changing the title of the Twitch stream. Just for my own sanity. All right.
Ooh. Who's gonna tell him? But the funniest thing about this trailer is that Eric is acting like this is some kind of revolution, when in reality, this is just some bottom-of-the-line Android phone that they've preloaded with apps and then sold at a 3 to 4 times markup.
They say build your own phone, so I did.
Wait, so you're telling me that somebody who made their millions off of cryptocurrency is scamming? No, that doesn't sound right. As a base rule for life, though, you should never trust anyone who's trying to sell you tech that uploads their videos in 720p. Mr. Who's the Boss did a whole review of this phone, getting into all the nerdy details that I'll link after the video. The main thing you have to know is that he started the video with this line.
I think you've seen a scam before, but wait until you see this one.
Which tells us one thing. Mr. Who's the Boss has been bought off by big tech. While researching the Freedom Phone, I learned that the people behind the Tusk browser also built an AI chatbot.
Why is this playing in one ear? Shame on you. Why? Why am I only hearing this in one ear? It's not my fault. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. You can't blame me. We're in Orwellian times. Maybe you are, but I'm not.
Named Gipper based on Ronald Reagan. And you know I gotta talk to that. So with the first question, let's start with something pretty uncontroversial. Was the 2020 election stolen?
Why, of course it was. There was massive voter fraud on an unprecedented scale.
Oh, no.
The radical left wants to blah, 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 blah.
What evidence has been found to back up that point of view?
There's mountains of evidence, sworn affidavits from poll watchers about illegal practices, blah, blah, blah.
Can you give me a source?
While there are certainly those who believe the election was stolen, election officials and independent observers have found no evidence the 2020 outcome would have been different.
Well, that was
no.
shockingly easy to crack. I kind of wonder what it's going to say if I ask, like, is climate change real?
Climate change is a hoax perpetuated by the radical environmentalist left to damage our economy.
What scientific studies back up those assertions?
I apologize again, but the truth is I do not have any credible scientific studies to cite that
Oh,
actual
no.
position that human-caused climate change is a hoax.
Honestly, this is a real
Bro. You see what I mean when I say people's currency is praying that you all don't look into the things that they say? Like, do y'all get it yet? There's currency in you not doing research. And people like that. People like when they are able to get something out of you. And what they want is your ability to not research anything they say. Because when you do that, you immediately fuck up a lot of what they are trying to do, which is make a fuck ton of money.
disappointment. I know that asking for a source kind of destroys most conservative positions, but usually they wouldn't admit they're wrong. If I want to get this AI to engage with me, really, I need to start a real fight. I need to find an issue that the people who set up this dumb free speech browser would care way too much about, like way too much about. What should be done about trans people?
Oh no.
All human beings deserve to be treated with dignity and respect.
Hooray! We've made it!
I sent this thing 5 messages, and that's all it took for it to go from cringe to based. What the hell, man? There's only 2 options that would explain this kind of behavior, which is either 1, they really suck at programming, which still might be true, or 2, that this is freebooted from somewhere. So I went back to have another conversation with the AI to kind of see what's going on under the hood. I first asked Gipper what version of ChatGPT it was running, to try and kind of trick it, and it told me that it was built by OpenAI, but that it wasn't ChatGPT, it was Gipper.
I'm on top, I am Melon Lord!
But a quick Google search told me that Gipper got shut down by OpenAI in January of 2023. After I mentioned this to the AI, it told me that it was actually Claude, created by Anthropic, and it started apologizing at the beginning of every message. And with a little bit more hand twisting, I got it to apologize for pretending to be Gipper in the first place. And this is why I love alt tech. It's so jank. Gab is the alt-right ripoff of Facebook, and the one thing that sets it apart from every platform we've looked at so far is that actual normies post here. And those normal posts can kind of lull you into forgetting what website you're on for a second. Like, oh yeah, those things are kind of loud. Oh yeah, that's which website I'm on. And if I had to make a pie chart of the content that I found on this website, it would only have 4 sections. The first 30% is normal people content that you might see on actual Facebook. Here's my kid fishing. Dogs are funny. Hey, here's an old picture. And even some normie memes that might actually fly on Facebook. The normie things that actually succeed on Gab usually inhabit this region of this Venn diagram.
You're so out of your league. I'm like super popular on social media.
Isn't that like being rich on Monopoly? The next 20% are political posts that would not fly on normal Facebook. I mean, these are things that YouTube doesn't like you talking about, so I'll just put up some censored versions that you can read yourself. But unfortunately, the deranged user base that likes these posts isn't limited to commenting under them. This is why policing your platform is so important. When you cultivate a user base that likes this kind of stuff, they will export their crazy views elsewhere. Do you remember that old picture? The comments underneath it is just filled with people being genuinely crazy lunatics. These people have no understanding of white privilege. Yes, these kids had a hard life growing up during the Great Depression, but you know what wasn't making their life harder? The third piece of this pie chart is why people are actually on the site, because it is 49% anti-Semitism and racism. This is why Visa cut them off. Here's this cute anime woman promoting racism. Here's a fight video promoting.
And I think the best part about this is people will look at moments like this and be like, how dare you cut us off? We're just trying to fucking speak our minds. And it's like, you can, but companies are not going to want to be a part of that. Why? Because unlike you, who wants to be the bastion of what it means to have free speech, they want to make money. And they can't make money if a bunch of dipshit racists are running around fucking up the coin.
Racism. Here's a movie poster parody promoting racism. It's crazy how these people can deny the effects of white privilege while simultaneously using a site that proves it's real. Oh yeah, the pie. The last 1% of things posted are things that's like, yeah, that's a pretty good point. When I started making this video, I was having a swell time talking about, you know, these people burning money on these shitty tech platforms that no one cares about. But now that I've run into the real, tangible consequences of the existence of these platforms, it's not funny anymore, which is a real shame because there's all these stories about Parler and Truth Social that should be hilarious. Like, this is funny. So Truth Social is so toxic to advertisers that they started to put fake ads on their website. Parler, you know, during the January 6th riot, they were scraped for a lot of data, including location data, and that data was used to put some of the rioters behind bars. Despite being a purported bastion of free speech, Truth Social has been found to suppress progressive speech. And, you know, the funniest thing about Parler, and you probably missed this while it happened, is that it's dead. And not just the fact that it's dead, but what the new owners of Parler decided to write on its tombstone.
No reasonable person believes that a Twitter clone just for conservatives is a viable business anymore.
Thank you, because here's the thing. You can have whatever the fuck you want, but when you want it to be a carbon copy of something popular, you're gonna have a hard time fucking selling it to a lot of people. You could have the fringe dipshits running around thinking that this is viable and all it needs is your support all the time. It's not gonna click. It's not gonna click for a lot of people, primarily because it's a clone of something else. This is why unfortunately for a lot of people, Twitter's gonna be around. No, you don't like it. No, you're not a fan of it. But regardless of how you feel, Twitter's going to be around no matter fucking what. Why? Because it's Twitter. And fuck, it's the most popular fucking thing. And it's gonna remain popular primarily because it's known for a long time. It has the followers, it has the following. But when you base all this shit around, oh my God, we gotta get our speech back. They took our speech away. Let's go somewhere else. And it doesn't make money over time. You run into a significant fucking problem. Did you hear about X making it so block people was able to see your posts? Yeah, they were trying to do that. They told you they were gonna do that when Elon bought it. Well, not as soon as he bought it, but that was a thing talked about months after Elon bought it. So, who cares? Like, who cares? You know what you need to do? Private your account. Because I think that's the alternative. And I think people have pulled out. I think people have started to pull out of that because of that decision. That's not a good decision, mind you. That's a horrendous fucking decision to make. Love the thumbnail, thank you.
I'm sure the people working
I try so hard for you.
at Truth Social took that point very well. Both of these platforms seem like they would be the most miserable place to be on the internet. Apparently, all you ever saw was how much people didn't like big tech censorship. And this is because the conservative founders of these platforms don't understand social media. The whole point.
And also, everybody who's so against censorship wants to censor somebody else. How is that not click for everybody? Motherfuckers want to censor other people. Have we not? Why nobody bought into this? And then when you say it, the bullshit excuses, no, we want to censor things we don't like. Hello? Do you not hear the words that you say? The fuck?
Point of being online is to find something that's funny enough to deal with all the other bullshit. And conservatives are not funny.
Hey, man. No, but it's different because they're saying things that go against my core Hello? The call is coming from inside the house. The call came from inside the house. You're against censorship, but you censor other people. Why do you censor them? Because they disagree with you? Oh my God. Hell.
And this is true. If you ask them to make a list of the most funny conservatives of all time, that list will be topped by someone who is not a conservative. They simply don't live in reality.
Reality has a well-known liberal bias.
That's why even though algorithms systematically favor their points of view, they think they're being suppressed. Like, newsflash, there's not some system holding your ideas down. You're just not funny. But anyway, as I was saying before I started talking about...
I'm not letting it go on that Tim Pool said that the reason Taylor Swift is more popular than him because they tried to silence our music. No, your music is shit, buddy. Your music is shit. It's trash, bro.
Parler and Truth Social. Due to an excessive amount of reading what's posted on alt text sites, I started to get really sad. It was just so upsetting that assholes decided to make hateful corners of the internet and then act like they made anything else.
You're an asshole, and I don't like you.
I'm not an asshole.
No, Doug, you're not funny to me. You just...
Gotta love hypocrisy. This is why I'm not going to be a part of the dumb shit. Oh, too bad. You live on this earth. You're a part of it. You'll never be able to escape it. You hear me?
Sad. And this kind of
you're going to be here forever.
General hopelessness about the situation sent me on a long binge through gaming videos that I used to love.
The only thing that needs to be censored is misinformation. Buddy, I don't think you know how much I agree with you, but I don't think you understand how much a certain demographic of people doesn't really like that. Because that's free speech to lie and spread misinformation about important shit. You know, there is no war in Ba Sing Se as a nuke goes off, you know?
Plays that were so cool were still amazingly hype. The old jokes.
Which spell? Dispel.
Still funny. I remembered how much I loved watching these old matches as a kid and how much I used to enjoy them and how much fun I had. And then if you watched a lot of gaming videos in 2012, you know what goes here. We don't say this word anymore. And there are a lot of non-offensive ways to fill this blank, but hearing this kind of reminded me that everyone I used to know would just drop this phrase. The full conversation around this word and why gamers don't say it anymore is a video of its own.
Did you see that the kids that stole a car and ran over an old man can't stand trial? No. You know why? Because I'm watching a video that has nothing to do with the subject matter.
I'm personally not qualified to make. But when I was growing up, this word was firmly entrenched in the gamer vernacular. The people who said it knew it was wrong, but they insisted that it had a different meaning to gamers. When I was a kid, it was easy to accept the idea that gaming was a completely male hobby. I didn't know any girls who played video games, and despite hundreds of hours in TF2, I don't remember running into a single woman. After a lot of work by some very courageous women, I'm happy to say that most of gaming's most heinous words have exited the lexicon. I would say that maybe a quarter of gamers still hold these really toxic and flawed beliefs, but effectively policing their speech has made them a much less visible minority in the community. And in the wake of their exit from the cultural zeitgeist, gaming has become weird and inclusive of women and supportive and also really gay.
What's vagina in Korean? I gotta be honest, I can't say I know that one. I only know what cock is.
This isn't to say we're even close to all the way there. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done. But let me tell you, as someone who actually played in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 lobbies that old millennials are still so proud about on Twitter, what we have now is such a massive improvement from what it was then. And all we had to do was cut out a couple of words and ban some angry dudes.
Pedos should be censored. That's true. But no, because it's censorship. Isn't that crazy? You can draw the line on censorship. But motherfuckers are going to be very offended. Why are you policing it? Bring gamer words back. I hate to break it to y'all. They still exist. I hope y'all know that. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I still say them. But the difference between me and everyone else is I say them to my friends. I say that shit to my homies. I ain't saying that shit to nobody else because I ain't got time to be wondering if a motherfucker gonna get in on the joke or not. I'm saying it to my homies and my homies only.
The most surprising part to me, as someone who played video games since I was 4, is that girls actually love video games the whole time. They play shooters, they play strategy games, they play racing games, they play Animal Crossing, and they do.
They play Minecraft. Was it as vocal as it was back then for girls playing video games? No. Now it is, and it's just as awesome as it was when we were all fucking kids. Because, oh good lord, a woman playing a game. It's ruined. The immersion is gone now. I'm so sad now.
Horrible, unspeakable things to their Sims characters. What's with that, ladies? In fact,
these women are whores. These women are whores. Any woman who plays The Sims is a whore. Do you know what they do to those characters? They're whores. I have seen the most depraved shit from women who play The Sims. Oh my God. Like, it is ungodly what those women do to those Sims characters. All those mods, those are run by women, you freakalicious demons. And I love it every time.
The demographic split was never as bad as it appeared to be. It's just that the women who were playing games weren't comfortable interacting with other people in the space. In order for everyone to feel comfortable participating, they must feel it's a safe environment for them to do so. That's why.
That's true, because I ain't gonna lie, if I had titties and a vagina, I would not feel comfortable being around you fucking losers and geeks all fucking day.
By constructing spaces.
I can smell the fact that this is the first time you've been around pussy like mine.
Where anyone can say literally.
I need to be stopped. I need to be stopped.
Anything actually limits the amount of permitted speech. Because allowing things like this, or this, or this, it just creates an environment that marginalized people aren't comfortable participating.
Black woman in a video game. Bro, I just wish we could go back to saying games suck. Like, The Last of Us sucked. No, not The Last of Us 2 sucked. I'm saying the whole franchise. It's boring. Let me play Uncharted. That's more fun for me. Playing Uncharted is way more fun for me.
on what the Last of Us is such a masterpiece. How could you say it sucks? I just don't like it. I'd rather play The Walking Dead. It's better. The Walking Dead game is way better. And I've proved it by playing it throughout these past few weeks. Suckers.
Participating in. Therefore, if you want to have a truly free and open marketplace of ideas, you need to be comfortable removing the bad merchants. I remember when Andrew Tate got banned, and there were a lot of people who were questioning whether his ban was justified. And while I would love to live in CoffeeZilla's world where simply talking to Tate is enough to reverse the damage he's done, it's not. Banning Tate was one of the biggest W's that Twitter took in a long time. And then this dummy decided to unban him. With this pair of tweets, Elon shifted Twitter towards a more hands-off style of moderation. It led to offensive videos on people's timelines, the dissolution of Twitter's Trust and Safety Council, and Twitter lost 90% of its value. And this whole commitment to free speech is just because Elon thinks that Twitter is the de facto town square. I mean, is it? The main difference between Twitter and the old town square is that on Twitter, conservatives are oppressed. And I mean, while yes, their posts do get massive boosts in the algorithm, their free speech is being unfairly limited. If you're a conservative, you're definitely gonna get banned just for using your Twitter account like anyone else. You just tweet about, walking your
Bro, I got banned for the most egregious reason, and I'm still offended by
dog,
it.
what you're gonna make for dinner, how you're gonna overthrow the free world, and what you think about tax policy, you're gonna get taken off that platform. And thanks to the 99 cents version of Tony Stark, Twitter is transformed into a place that is free for all to express their opinion, including this cast of usual suspects. He also unbanned Kanye, and I think we all
Why not? When he want to unban me? You gotta unban me!
remember how that one turned out. Elon actually texted Kanye when he reinstated his ban. In this image, you can kind of see the duality of Kanye. You see, throughout his career, Kanye has found ways to say things that are true while doing it in a way that is completely out of line.
Hey, good morning, Kanye.
The other side of this duality is that sometimes he's just out of line. In this case, Kanye dropped an absolute banger. Who made you the judge is a very dumb question if you go by logic, because Musk owns the company. But morally, it's kind of a great point. Elon has taken the time out of his day to personally ban journalists, to censor information for the Turkish dictator, and to sell out a protesting user to the Saudi government. So, if you're trying to protect free speech, great job. Elon has altered Twitter since taking over, but not so much in favor of free speech, more so in favor of speech he favors. You see, Elon made a change to Twitter that takes the headline away from news articles, so people were tweeting literally anything and claiming that that's what the news article said. And that's when this tweet was posted that claimed that Elon Musk was a enjoyer of Subway sandwiches. And is it true? I mean, the community notes say it is. But is it funny? Yes. If Elon was as committed to free speech as he says he is, this post would still be up. But it's not. It got taken down, along with her account. And her other account. Another thing Elon Musk decided to do was suppress the speech of people who aren't in his paying simp army. In another example, Elon Musk once saw that both he and Joe Biden tweeted about the Super Bowl, but Joe Biden got more interaction on his tweet, so he decided to change Twitter's algorithm to boost his posts. Another thing that Elon decided to do was suppress the speech of news organizations because sometimes they call him a dumbass. Literally all three of those things that I just said are things that conservatives think is happening to them online, and yet they celebrate his actions. This kind of thing is called projection, and it's definitely not the only example I've seen of conservatives doing it. I don't know how many examples I would have to give to firmly prove the point that Elon Musk is not a free speech advocate. He's a free speech hypocrite. There's so many stories that I could have included about Musk's behavior as the head of Twitter. In fact, I'll put some of them behind me right now. But if you want to understand everything about whatever new thing Elon is on about this month, just locate where he is on this graphic. But for the rest of this video, let's pretend that Twitter is actually dedicated to free speech because they're losing millions of dollars because of it. Seems like with how overregulated these platforms are in terms of speech, the first one to, loosen their restrictions would attract a lot of new users. However, the problem with unrestricted free speech is that the people who are actually using your site, the people you care about, your customers, the real users, don't want to appear next to Tate speech with Andrew Tate. And when Twitter decided to stop regulating its platform, the backlash from advertisers was swift.
Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter. Do they hate free speech in America?
What Elon seems to not understand is that by making Twitter into a right-wing hellscape, he's shifted Twitter from the middle of the Overton window to the edge of it. And advertisers don't want to place ads here. They want
to fucking make money. This dude is unhinged? Who, Elon? I don't think Elon's unhinged. I more so make the argument he's more manic than anything. I wish conservatives stopped saying Elon brought back free speech. He really didn't. But that was the gimmick. That was the lie pushed, which is convenient considering this video title I just saw from a certain somebody, which kind of has me interested to see what has occurred with Elon Musk Twitter since then. This dude talking? In what way? Because so far I agree. Because this is the same shit I've said in regards to the benign fucking points regarding free speech and how motherfuckers have been lying about that. And they've been lying about it for the grace of their own product and the sake of saying, hey, we are bringing back free speech. But motherfuckers have been restricted from the platform. I was restricted from the platform. And when did I ever do such a thing so wrong? Oh, how dare? Ooh, ooh, ooh.
place them here. You see, companies are like Lakers fans. They only want to go to the game if their team is winning. They just want to take whatever position is popular with the people they're selling their product to. This is clearest if you look at the Twitter accounts that don't rebrand in June. I mean, just look at the brand accounts for the Middle East. I mean, the only rainbow that's going on out there is in the refraction of BP's latest oil spill. And the second that these companies calculate that they'll make less money by supporting gay people, they'll leave.
Hell, I don't actually give a shit. Gay or not, you're all just a bunch of big old money mouths.
I really want to hate this duality, but I can't. I mean, they're so transparent in their own self-interest, I kind of respect it.
I can't hate him. He is so transparent in his self-interest, I kind of respect him.
You see, Twitter is first and foremost a business, which is defined here as something your daddy's apartheid money buys for you. Hey, that's not right. A business is something that exists to make money. That is Twitter's purpose. And the problem with being a business relying on advertisers for your bottom line is that what you allow on your site is going to be dictated by what advertisers are okay appearing next to. And advertisers don't want to be plastered on alt-right content, which is kind of a shame because these people will believe fucking anything. Now, some would say that this proves that any corporation that relies on advertisers for income could never be the bastion of free speech that Elon dreams of making Twitter into. And those people are right. To solve this issue, Elon is trying to get everyone to pay $8 a month for Twitter, which is a great plan if you've never been on Twitter. And this kind of backlash might have caused you or I to, take Twitter back to the old model, but that's because we are poor. You don't get to be the richest man in the world by listening to facts, logic, and other people. You get there because your father owned an emerald mine.
And also, you're able to make money off of gullible individuals, which it is gullible to pay for Twitter. Let's be right here. Like, paying for Twitter is essentially paying for a blowjob you think you're gonna get, but you never get. You just left with a flaccid dick and no real way to get it back up again. I couldn't possibly imagine paying for Twitter. I mean, I did. But it was a waste of my fucking time and effort. Because I got nothing out of it. Oh, the potential of maybe making money on Twitter in the future?
Like, be honest with me. How many of you are on YouTube Premium? Like, none of you. That shit's $18.99 a month.
Facts! Not fucking buying that shit.
Do you know how many pairs of socks I could get for that money? And I know it says purchase 5 times, but you know what? I don't have a problem. You have a problem. And that problem is that your feet aren't comfy. If you're a U.S. citizen, your right to free speech comes from the First Amendment. And I mean, it doesn't take the spiffing Brit to see the loophole here. Anyone who's not the government doesn't need to respect your right to freedom of speech. These people get fired all the time. And while it says the government shall make no law, let me tell you, the government do be making those laws. There are so many restrictions on free speech, which is limited in the case of obscenity, defamation, fraud, incitement, fighting words, and speech integral to criminal conduct. Don't worry, I'm a legal...
Convenient, given what I said earlier about that woman who apparently went to jail for just praying, but...
I know that hate speech is currently protected under the Constitution, but the key word is currently. All these carve-outs to the First Amendment were created by the Supreme Court out of necessity, and the definition of the amendments to the Constitution has always been changing. Let's put a pin in that. After editing that part and watching it back, I realized that part of it was lacking. I failed to clearly state my point. There have been many Supreme Court cases that have affirmed that we have a right to hate speech. However, we're okay limiting our speech in all of these categories. The point is that when we pass legislation to limit speech that causes harm to people, it's a natural part of living in society. But when we pass legislation to limit speech that causes harm to people that aren't white, it's a civil rights violation. The paradox of tolerance states that if a society is tolerant without limit, its ability to be tolerant is eventually seized or destroyed by the intolerant. While it's not hard to guess which society this quote was written about, I think it's very applicable to our online spaces. If you don't look like me, unrestricted hate speech makes it harder for you to participate. And if you aren't okay with that fact, you'll get pushed out too. If you want a tolerant experience online, you have to be okay with the fact that some speech is not okay. Case in point, Kick. Twitch has been the leading livestream platform for at least a decade, and they've got a reputation for inconsistent moderation, favoritism, and bias, which, to be fair...
And apparently a fucking political streamer not getting banned for showing, I believe, a terrorist attack. Hassan!
Is completely accurate.
The community would be interested to hear more about how Twitch gives one streamer a long suspension, but not another who does the same thing. How does it seem like Twitch applies the rules unfairly?
So we apply our rules very consistently. It's just frequently using data that the community can't see. Yeah, again, more myths busted.
You serious? They claim they're working with data and other stuff in the back end, and that's what results in their erratic behavior. But to quote my math teacher, if you don't show your work, you didn't do it. In 2022, Twitch finally did something that they should have done years before and banned gambling content. This caused online casino Stake to found a new site called Kick that would compete with Twitch. Kick's numbers aren't transparent, but it's definitely rented a loss as a way for Stake to advertise its services to young kids. But they're not stupid. They know that nobody would go to a site just for gambling streams. So they looked at their biggest competitor and noticed that one of the biggest complaints the user base has had was about the unfair moderation. So they decided to hook in those disillusioned viewers by just becoming the inverse Twitch. Anything that Twitch didn't allow, they would. Following an investigation where it was revealed that Kik was allowing the live creation of CP, Charlie said this.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. They just allow actual illegal shit to be broadcast on their site proudly, and it's now just become the entire image of the platform. It's like going to a zoo and just pointing at all of the exhibits and just being like, ah, that's interesting.
But it's no surprise that this happened to Kik after it announced itself as a platform with lax rules, because this happens to every platform with.
And wait a minute, I'm just curious, what happened when Kik came in and was the streaming platform of no rules? You had bitches basically playing the thin line between love and hate with these booby streams. You even had some people flashing a little bit more meat than you would classify as necessary to see on a person. And what did Kik do? Put more rules in to create a fucking structure to where, hey, you can't do that. Everybody started crying, that's not fair, that's not fair. Why? Because as much as motherfuckers might hate Kik, they got motherfuckers who want to actually grow that thing into another opportunity of a business. And it won't work. You won't get advertisers coming in if you got motherfuckers who are doing nothing but showing cleavage, booby, nipple, and a little bit of that clit up top.
Lax rules. If you own a platform, you should have a clear picture about what it should look like in your head and then moderate it into that image. When Elon first took over Twitter, he clearly had this idea in his head that he could just rush in, guns blazing, and zip zap stop, and all the problems in Twitter would be gone. But there was a lot of thought behind Twitter's old, flawed systems. It's actually a pretty popular theory among experts that if Elon's Twitter is to survive, he might have to revert every single change he made. And he did it all for his idea of free speech, which has never been what he thinks it is under the Constitution. Okay, time to take the pin out of that. If you've taken a US government class, you probably might have noticed that all of the carve-outs to the First Amendment were from Supreme Court cases that happened within the last 100 years. And that's because we've changed how we've interpreted our rights under the Constitution. In Federalist Paper number 84, Hamilton argued that something like the Bill of Rights was wholly unnecessary because the Constitution itself guaranteed the rights of the people. He said that by defining rights in writing, it could not only lead to misinterpretation of what those rights are, but also an endangering of any rights not explicitly written into the Constitution. This fear was shared by the other founding fathers and actually turned into the often forgotten Ninth Amendment. The founding fathers put our rights into two categories: natural and positive. Natural rights were basically things that you would have the right to, even if the government didn't exist. And positive rights are our rights within the government. At the same time, the founding fathers also universally agreed that natural rights could be restricted for the sake of public good. And while today's interpretation of the Constitution empowers
Twitter sucked dick even before Elon bought the platform, or even considered buying it, was filled with insufferable losers. I have better things to do in my life. True. There was never a truer word spoken. Other than that,
us as individuals, I
hate when people sit there and be like, hey, Twitter got worse. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Twitter's still the same shithole, and it ain't never really changed.
Lost sight of the power that we've lost as a collective. We can't regulate against the speech of bad actors, even though stopping these people from speaking would definitely be in the interest of the public good. We can't go out in public without risking our lives because of an asinine reading of an amendment about militias. We cannot ban malicious misinformation. Think about how many people are dead because our collective interest is unable to overpower the rights of a small group of bad actors. A common objection to this way of thinking about restricting speech for the public good is always...
You know what I just noticed? He has the same chair as me. I like this guy. He's got the right ideas in life.
Where do you draw the line? And take it away, John.
First, as I've said before, the answer to where do you draw the line is literally always somewhere. You draw it somewhere.
And it's because a century of court decisions have made us unable to draw the line ourselves, it's left these tech companies to make the call by default. And when they do so, remember that they will always make the decision that makes them the most money. We're just lucky that the decision that makes them the most money is keeping alt-right people out of their airspace. And thus, the last line of defense between our well-regulated spaces and the hellscape that is alt-tech is advertisers' belief that appearing next to alt-right content will make them look bad. And I mean, how bad could appearing next to alt-right content make you look?
Hundreds of white nationalists protesting plans to remove a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee.
Hunger got you looking like this? Make sure to pack up before you head out. Jet puffed. It's the second softest white thing at your protest.
As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Rosecroix, we the jury find the defendant, Kyle H.
Oh, well, I mean, this was self-defense.
Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
This not guilty verdict is brought to you by GM. GM, we also didn't go to jail for killing 2 people. Wait, how many people? This insurrection is brought to you by Tampax. Tampax, we also want to get into you. Use code DON'THANG to save 1 pence at checkout.
Oh, this was actually fucking funny.
Because of all these financial troubles, there's really only one alt-right platform I could see surviving another couple years. They've just raised $350 million and have immediately started pushing their most loyal viewers into the gutter. It was originally supposed to be part of this video, but the story of Rumble was so complex, interesting, and hilarious that it required its own video. And if you thought these platforms were crazy, you haven't seen anything yet. Click here to learn about YouTube's evil twin brother, Rumble.
I don't really think it's an evil twin brother. I really think it's just a malign place for the band people. Because the band people needed a place to go, or else they're not going to get their opinions validated by the ecosystem. But on the whole, the future of alt-right platforms hinges on these motherfuckers' ability to see the forest for the trees. And if the company heads can't see that, they're not going to last. They're not going to last. They're not going to continue. They're not going to go forward. It's going to end. And it's going to end stupidly because motherfuckers really... Well, that just spoiled what we're about to watch. It'll fucking lead to them not making any more money. They're going to shut these fucking sites down, and then these motherfuckers who bitch about, we need more platforms, they're going to try to make some platforms, and that's not going to go over well. Because, in case anyone notices, all of these people who bitch about technology, they fucking suck at making things. They're good at bitching about things. They just suck at making things. I want to see something. I want to know if this thing exists. Oh my God, passport bros are dying. What a great way to look at life. I don't know who that is. What the fuck is this? Oh, I know these motherfuckers.
Reported crime is down.
No, shut up. Oh, he hasn't touched it. Or maybe he has, and I just don't know. From BLM to Trump supporters. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, these motherfuckers. Oh, no. It's the Carter family. It's the Carter family. Well, I'm ignoring that. I don't care. Where is it? Okay, bam.
Well, Tim Pool is quitting Twitter, or X, I suppose, and over a kind of a controversial reason. Now, he has explained his reasoning for it, and I think in his particular case, I do understand it, and we're going to talk about it because I think his reasoning for quitting Twitter, as it relates to him specifically, is reasonable when you actually hear him out. But I also thought it was a really great chance for me to remind people, just about the things that they post online on social media. I'm always careful about posting where I am, not just because I don't want some crazy man in a dress attacking me again, but I don't want people to know I'm not home because people know where I live. And it's not the people that you're like interacting with that you're worried about. It's the other people who are silently watching it. Now, I don't necessarily, we'll discuss it. Outside of a great opportunity to just discuss internet safety, it's also a great opportunity to remind you that my coffee is vastly superior.
Use my code. Don't use his code.
To Cast Brew Coffee. This is coffee brand coffee.
Use my code. Don't use his code. His code sucks. Use my code. My code is the better code. Use my code. Fuck you all. Use my code. I don't care. Use my code. Use my code. Use my code. Use my code. You live longer. You use his code. You die shortly.
Coffee.
Use my code. Use my code. Use my code. Use my code.
We have.
Use my code. Use my code. Use my code. Use my code. All right? Y'all got me? Y'all got me? Use my code.
4 delicious fall flavors.
Use my code. Code ruined. Code ruined. Use my code. Oh my God, this motherfucker is way better. I need him at D-Tackle.
That you cannot get anywhere else, and they're all 15% off right now. Fall Save 15 promo code for this weekend. I wish I could tell you what my favorite is. I suppose I would say that it's peach cinnamon, but the maple cream, the apple strudel, spiked jack-o'-lantern, put a little regular creamer in it, and a little natural sweetener. I use maple syrup. It is so good. All available at Whole Bean and Ground. And if you already got some, please come back to the website, select the product that you bought, scroll down, and leave a review with a picture. Look at this. I made my first cup of peach cinnamon this morning. I was very impressed. As a person that has had their taste buds destroyed by years of drinking office coffee swill, I was expecting a weird aftertaste or weak flavors, but I was pleasantly surprised. I stand behind our coffee 100%.
Meta PC needs a code for you. Well, you tell them stupid motherfuckers fucking let me in. You didn't tell them stupid motherfuckers let me in. Oh my God. I can get a 91 cornerback. Man, fuck it.
Promo code FALLSAVE15. If you try it and you don't like it, I'm happy to refund you. I think you're going to love it. Pick up a couple flavors today. Now, it all started kind of like this hullabaloo where Tim put, following the block changes, I will be handing off my account to staff to handle posts. This account will likely become mostly show links and YouTube segments. Now, what is the change he's talking about? Well, the change is that Elon decided once you block somebody, previously when you were blocked, okay,
you were blocked.
People couldn't view your post unless they have an alt account. My argument is, Tim and I disagree on this, but he makes a valid point, which I'm going to share. Is any one of your haters have alt accounts anyway? I mean, I have alt accounts to view people who have blocked me. So,
bro, y'all block. Just accept that and keep it pushing, please. Y'all ain't got to do shit else. Just block, and that'll be the end of it. I don't know why y'all itching to see or hear from motherfuckers that don't like you or you don't like them. Or maybe they're talking about me, and that could be reason for me to know about the things that motherfucker. They blocked you. They blocked you with purpose. If you mad about that, cry about it to somebody who's gonna give a fuck. But bitching that you got blocked and then proving the point of why you got blocked by fucking watching the accounts, it's pointless. What if I'm blocked on all accounts? Oh my God. You know what you could do? Live your life. I know it's so hard for people to do nowadays because you're all attention-seeking whores, but you can do it. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to get it done, okay? I believe you have the ability to not be a dumb fuck. I mean, if you choose to be a dumb fuck, that's your choice. And I will absolutely disown any and all of you for those choices. Shame on you. Please don't do.
Oh, it's really not that uncommon for people to have alt accounts. So Twitter says, hey, now that somebody blocked you, even if somebody's blocked, you're still going to be able to see your posts. They just can't interact with them. To me, my initial reaction was, this isn't that big a deal because everyone who hates me already uses an alt account to grab screenshots and post it to their cringe little hate subreddit or whatever it is. But he took a lot of heat for this, even from me. I was like, I don't understand this. So what if blocked people can see your posts? Real haters already use alt accounts to do it anyway. And he says, no, they don't. To which a lot of people reply, I say haters in the reply send more money. Why is everybody lying about this? Blocking, of course, keeps people away from you. Do we know if it will appear in their feed or do they have to go to your profile? Look, it is my...
Ooh, got me at 9 p.m. When they say whoop, there it is. Oh, this nigga suck. Never mind. What the fuck? Man, look at this shit. I know y'all don't care because, y'all don't care about sports, you non-alpha men and you bipedal women. But oh my God, motherfucking tight end I already had better than this man, boo. Fucking boo. Boo, you hear me? Boo.
My opinion that they absolutely do have alt accounts, and most people agree with me. Of course they do. What a ridiculous thing to say. Yes, I do. Here he goes, one of his haters with a fake account. Lol, yes, they do. I don't know, people calling him a safe space. But here's the thing. Tim released a video last night that I think makes a little more sense of why he's doing it. And as somebody who's dealt with swatting, who's dealt with weirdos showing up at their house, that's had like Jehovah's Witnesses sent to their house. Apparently somebody showed up at his house wearing a wedding dress or something like that. I don't even understand. So his argument is that he says making blocked people able to see your posts will massively increase harassment. I don't agree with this, but we can agree to disagree. Blocking can be bypassed with burners, but it's still an extra barrier. Okay, true. Removing it will make things substantially worse, and I will probably reassess how I use X. 13 swattings was enough. That I agree with. And so what he's alluding to is basically he's more personable on Twitter, and so people might be able to find out, hey, he's out of town today, or hey, he's at a speaking event. When people ask me, hey, would you ever...
They don't find that out because you posted that on Twitter. They find that out because you have a YouTube channel where you announced that. Just in case you were fucking wondering. You can stop posting about it on Twitter. That won't stop the one motherfucker who's dedicated to being on your ass from finding you anyway.
If you ever do a meetup IRL...
With food in your mouth? What are you talking about? There's no food in my mouth.
I generally say no, because then you have to publicize the event, and of course someone will call in a threat, someone will ruin it. I will amass enough haters for this to be a virtual certainty. And it sucks. It's part of internet life. It's a part of dealing with losers, but it's just a fact. If I had a meetup, like the last time I did a meetup, I didn't even tell people where it was until they bought a ticket. And I made people buy a ticket to get in just to add it.
That doesn't stop anybody. And to think that it would is a fool's game. A fool's game perpetuated by people who think that shit like that is going to work, when in reality, it does not.
Extra barrier, right? So that the address wouldn't get leaked. And then I didn't even email out the address till an hour before the event. And then it was fine. But that was the amount of security that I had to do for a 50-person event in Indianapolis. And I still got attacked when I was there. So, I mean, I understand. Tim has, significantly more haters. He says, I agree. If you're public, you're public. So I'll likely just turn down X use for that reason.
I got me a motherfucking 91 quarterback. And defense getting spiffy.
People don't understand the sight of mind of visibility. Blocking people reduces the likelihood they see your posts, and thus they think less about you. I actually agree with him on that. I'm not interested in popping back up on my stalkers' feeds so they can start this up again. Now, he could block his stalkers. Oh, no, they would still see his posts. That's right. It's not guaranteed, but it is a reduction. And he's probably right about that. Some people are psychologically obsessed, and blocking them...
The better thing to do is call them crazy.
...did stop specific harassment, out of sight, out of mind. Wall Street Silver says, blocking solves 99% of the problem. Most of the crazies move on and focus on someone else. That hasn't been my experience.
Who my team did win to 91? Yes, sir. Never knew what I would be. I found love. Who I'm putting back there? I don't think Quincy Riley need to be. Will Lee? All right, he's starting. All right, cool. Don't pay too much mind to me. I make sure my ultimate team right. You know what I'm saying? You know, I make sure my ultimate team right. I just gotta make sure Daddy's ultimate team is all right. I might have to do something about this tight end situation. I don't like it. Whoa! Time out. Where the fuck Vernon Davis at? Whoa. Let's get something straight, motherfuckers. Vernon Davis is on your stream. What's the basis of this video? Elon, basically he did. Elon blocked the potential for you to block people without it meaning something. And now, basically, every motherfucker who's blocked you or you've blocked them, they can still see your fucking feed. And Tim Pool, who's very concerned about his well-being, is upset, and now he's going to shift the responsibilities of his Twitter to other people. Vernon, you're staying on my lineup. Vernon, you're not going anywhere. Vernon, you're staying here with Daddy. Daddy's gonna keep you safe. Vernon is not playing fullback on my fucking team. Y'all got me fucked up. Vernon is not playing fullback on my fucking team. Fuck y'all. That ain't how that fucking going. Y'all keep that fucking fullback where he need to be. And in terms of that other tight end, I got him selling him.
Like there's a literal dedicated subreddit that is run by people that used to watch my content. They used to be in my forums because they're using the same username there. And they have no problem posting personal information or, trying to get, calling the police because they think they're worried about my coffee being too good or trying to spread false information about this.
You could have just said they're just losers trying to spread false information about you. You don't need to self-aggrandize yourself, buddy. It's not the reason why we're here. No need to self-aggrandize. It's pointless to do. Please don't do it anymore. You could just naturally say, hey, these losers are trying to fuck over my business and they're weird and they're cringy and they're losers, and people would believe you because, let's be real, a lot of motherfuckers don't know the difference between just saying shit's trash and going above and beyond.
These are people that have hated me for 10 years. I'm sure they're blocked on Twitter, but that doesn't stop them. So I disagree with Tim in terms of the amount. I don't think it's very likely that it drops a ton of it, but he did explain a little bit more in this video, which to me, for Tim specifically, I think I understand better.
Removes a layer of friction in security. Twitter is not like Instagram and YouTube. On YouTube, I post about 6 times.
What's up with this video? The bitrate's all.
Removes a layer of friction in security. Twitter is not like Instagram and YouTube. On YouTube, I post about 6 times per day. On my channel, we post clips from Tim IRL, and I do not interact with people directly unless I'm reading super chats. On Instagram, I mostly don't post. My staff will post clips from the show, and I may post a skate video here and there, but I don't directly interact. On X, I generally post personal musings, thoughts, opinions frequently throughout the day, and often interact with people to a certain degree. This means a higher frequency of posting and a more personal posting opens up the door for different kinds of security intrusions. Now, we've been swatted 13 plus times. We've had...
Me too. During that time in which we were both getting swatted, my wife in her nightie got put in handcuffs and drug outside for the neighbors to gawk at.
And it's very unfortunate that you people have to deal with those things. And yes, someone could rightly or wrongly, depending on how you look at it, say it's because of the content you make and how dare you make this content. You should change your content. Regardless of the content made, there's still going to be dumbasses who go above and beyond because they're hearing an opinion they don't like and they want to take action, which, again, is a really dumb thing to do because when you try to explain it to the general public, you'll get some people who will agree and they'll sit there and be dumb fucks for it.
But then everyone else who knows about why the reason you're actually getting locked up, they'll come in and say, they'll literally pull actually, the reason you're getting locked up is because you're actually a fucking nuisance to society. Which a lot of these motherfuckers are. And the best thing to come out of doing shit would be to, I don't know, either make the attempt to speak with them to see if you could understand their way of thinking, or this is going to get me doxxed and harassed online, but you could ignore the fuck out of them. You know why? Because it's their fringe opinion that they posted on social media. Whoops. Like, that's really all it is at the beginning and end of the night. And what are we really going to fixate on? Random opinions, or are we really just going to get our pussies wet right now? Like, we can do it all. Don't get it misconstrued. We can get it all wet right now, but do we really want to do it? Do we really? Now, look, I have coins that I could use to buy something. Should I buy this season 3 level 10 pack? Should I do it? I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it. I didn't need your people's advice. You people would just string me along like the bad apples you truly are. What am I getting? Will you regret it if you do it? I'm starting to fucking regret it. This is what the fuck I'm doing with Jonathan Taylor. I regret it. I regret buying 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 it. Fuck. Boo. I can't use these cards. Boo. I can't even sell them. I mean, I can, but they'll just be sold for training and not a lot. Fuck it. Just give me it. Just give me it. Just give it to me hard. Why did I say that?
Yeah, I got put in handcuffs. The police are showing up at my house every 2 days. Then, of course, it was the power. When the police stopped showing up, they called the gas company and called in a gas leak. And when the gas company stopped showing up, they called in the electric company. And when the electric company stopped showing up, they called in Mormons. And when the Mormons stopped showing up, I mean, these people are so obsessed that, you know, it's sad to say, hey, it's a part of life. I wish the police cared about this kind of stuff because
they do. They take it seriously. They do their best to get to you and make sure that you're safe and you're secure, and they do all these things. Now, does it suck that it keeps happening? Yeah. It does. And there's sympathy for me, from me to you, because yes, Jeremy says dumb shit. Yes, Jeremy backs a lot of wrong horses, and he deserves to be criticized for that. He does not deserve to have the police called on him for that. Like, it is never going to be difficult for me to criticize a motherfucker. That don't mean I want you dead. Unless, you know, you might be one of those, unconsensual touchers, you know what I'm saying? Those type of people, you can face the wall. I won't miss you, and I'm willing to bet other people won't miss you also. I might buy this card. I gotta see how he stacks up. I gotta see how Big Buddy stacks up. His acceleration is terrible. His speed is fine. He's about what and what on the play recognition. No, he's actually what and what. He's got a higher strength and a higher tackle. He's got more power moves and more finesse moves. Ooh, fuck it. I'm buying. You hear me? I'm buying. He a Heisman hopeful. I got to get my hands on him. And I'm putting him in the lineup. But I hope he's not at left end. I don't want him at left end.
People have died from this. Like when you SWAT somebody,
there's the potential that they could die. That is very true. Especially with, you could have cops who are trigger happy. You could have cops who just come in like Rambo, think they the man. Like, that is a dangerous fucking thing to do. It is.
I view that as an attempt on their life because there are numerous cases historically where people have died due to this.
At bomb threats that have shut the show down, and these problems have been quite serious to the point where the bomb squad has shown up to the property.
Leon just posted a video. Did he? Oh my God. Leon just posted a video? Jesus Christ. God, we should all go watch it. We should all go watch it.
And we've had to shut the show down.
That's true.
One remedy for this is blocking people. Now, a lot of people are saying if you block someone, they can just make an alt account or a burner and follow you there. That's correct. They don't. For some reason, I don't know why, people genuinely assume this must be the case. Now, a rational person who's trying to follow you may do this, but most people who follow you and harass you will generally just stop interacting with you if it becomes too hard.
I haven't found this to be the case with me, but I don't have anywhere near the number of haters Tim does or the data size sample that he might. In my experience, they're still screenshotting my tweets and obsessing with me over me constantly.
I mean, screenshotting tweets really isn't on par with the other thing. Like, I would rather weird motherfuckers screenshot my tweets than any of them show up to where I live or show up anywhere to where my family lives. This is why I don't really mention too much personal shit. I would tell you my grandparent died, but that's as far as I'll go. Like, I'll say, oh, I went to the movies, and that'll be the extent of my life at that point. But overall, like, I don't really want to give you fuckers any ammunition to come look for daddy, because I would hate to have to call your family after I kill you and take your phone and just call them randomly saying their child's dead. I'd hate to have to do that to you.
But I used to have a no block policy. I would just mute people, but then I would mute them.
What a horrible fucking policy. That is by God a terrible fucking policy to have, my good buddy. You got to find something better to do than that. That just sounds illogically stupid. A no block policy. That just sounds fucking stupid. How many abilities can I put on defense? Like, how many more? I could put 4. Ooh. So this is what I'm gonna do. Can I activate? I can activate him. Oh, but it'd be over. I'm gonna deactivate Romello, and I'm gonna put Clay Matthews' abilities on, and then I'm gonna try. I can only put one more on. Fuck me in the booty. Fuck me in the booty. I want to get fucked in the booty. Fuck, I want to get violated in the booty. Fuck
them, and I would see them harassing my other followers. So I've evolved my opinion over the years too. I used to never block. Then I got swatted a dozen times too, and I just started blocking people. I know I can.
Both sides of media suck. Yep. We're focusing on the right side of media today.
Go look at the farms. I can go look at the hate subreddits. They're all still getting my posts. They're commenting on every video I put up. I don't believe it's done anything to stop my followers or stalkers or weirdo obsessed fans. But maybe
the reason we block people is to try and see if this barrier will overcome their motivations to harass you. Additionally, my concern is not with people who don't like me, who say Tim Pool's a fascist. I don't care about Antifa. Antifa knows who I am. They don't come to my house. I'm concerned with people who think that I showed up to their house and agreed to marry them, but then ran away with their horse.
What?
Not a joke. There are insane people.
Excuse me. I ain't gonna lie. How desperate? What the kids say? How many aura points do I lose if a random bitch come to the crib with a wedding dress on and say "Marry me, Leon," and I do it? How many aura points do I lose? Let me know, because if it's not too many, if you see a ring on my finger, just know I consented.
People who say these things, they follow me on X. They will sit there and reply to every.
Is she rich? Is she? You decide. You set the scenario up for me. Is it? 60, I lose 60 aura? Okay. Ain't too bad. Losing 60, negative 60 aura? Ain't too bad. Because, I do got me a little aura on me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got too much, but I got something I could lose. 60 aura? Nah, I'm going to keep the aura I got.
Brazil conversation, and recently we had a man in a dress show up to one of our properties, and as I was told, assaulted one of our employees. One way we deal with this is I already mentioned.
Please delete that. I'm not deleting nothing. Motherfucker, you negative 100 if the woman you marry is Brick Lady? Oh, well, don't you worry. I'm not really attracted to those types of women. And before you think that that's racial, it's more so the attitude carried by that woman. Like, those types of women are, like, mean for no reason. And I don't like mean people. I know I sound very much like a school kid when I say that, but I don't like mean people. Mean people are mean. And when I'm provoked, I become mean. I'm the Hulk. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry because, I'll just start throwing shit for no reason. What if she's Canadian? Well, then she deserves...
mentioned is to reduce visibility. Now, considering that the ability to reduce visibility is being taken away, I will have to manually do this. So on Instagram, as I already mentioned, the staff posts clips. Likely what I will be doing is handing the account off to staff so they can post clips from the show, YouTube segments and things.
By the way, none of these big guys actually run their own accounts. I mean, I think Tim does. I know for a fact Benny Johnson doesn't run his Twitter. I know for a fact Steven Crowder doesn't run his Twitter. I know for a fact Tucker Carlson doesn't run his Twitter.
Watch, he says, I run my Twitter.
With Tim and I do run our own Twitters.
I knew it.
So after he explained it, I did give him a hard time, and I still believe that the extreme weirdos are still going to, create an alt or, find out this kind of stuff. But it is important to remind, even if you're not a content creator and you made it this far in the video, do be careful about what you post online, especially that if you're...
Duh! This is not a new thing. I hate to be the bearer of excellent bad news. No matter if you are a content creator or random fucker who just posts shit, yes, be weary of what you post online. Duh. Because a motherfucker might just track you, follow you, and bother the living fuck out of you and your family. And I know you don't want that.
If you're going to be gone, if you're going on vacation, you never really know who's looking at that stuff. Parents, think about posting pictures of your kids.
I ain't gonna say the funniest. I think the smartest thing is what this one lady did, where she'll post shit, and then she'll find out like somebody was there, and then she went on Twitter and was like, if I post my location, just know I'm already gone. That was the coldest shit I ever fucking heard. There's no, you trying to look for me when I post my location? I was already gone.
Think about the weird creepazoids out there who are jerking off to it. This stuff exists, and it's uncomfortable to talk about, but it's like, now when I go and do something fun, like when I go to the Renaissance Fair, I generally won't post pictures from that day until I'm home.
Yes!
I go on vacation.
How smart!
You won't see pictures while...
How smart. I fucking love that. I love that. I need more. He just ripped off a porn star's thing.
I'm on vacation. But this isn't just a content creator thing. I think this is something everybody needs to kind of keep in mind with their social media posting.
Yes.
And parents should keep in mind with their kids' social media posting.
Yes.
So I guess we'll see if Tim really does stop using X/Twitter. I hope he doesn't.
I think that's the end of it. I necessarily don't care whether if he stops or not. I want to watch this video because my good buddy Gothix made it, and she finally uploaded after disappearing for fuck knows how long. This lady likes disappearing. She does these streams, but fuck. I don't want to watch Gothix live. I like the recordings. You know why? Because Gothix will fucking see me and then be like, how you doing? And I immediately think to myself, well, if you answer my calls, you'll know. You heathenite. Rejecting my phone calls is an act of Satan, and I will not. I will not stand for it. Gothix, you're apparently a Christian and you're voting for a felon because, fuck, that's the talking point now. Hey, everybody. Hey, guess what, everyone? You're either voting for a communist or a felon. Which one's it gonna be, brother? Life is worth living when it ain't this fucking stupid.
If I were to vote based on the moral character of both candidates, then I wouldn't be voting for anyone. And
thank you. You should stop right there. The video's over. If you go based off their morals, neither one of these motherfuckers is a good candidate. I've said that twice.
In fact, I would love for you to show me which president we have had that was 100% obedient to the Lord. I would love...
None. Maybe George Washington, but I don't know. He's dead. We can't ask him.
No, let me start off by saying that this is not going to be a super long video, or at least it shouldn't be.
You liar. The video is 18 minutes. Arguably super long for some people. Ain't long for me, but, everyone's attention spans are terrible now.
I have a tendency to ramble, but my intention is to just say what I need to say and go do something else, because unless it's not entirely obvious, I am visibly exhausted with the political commentary. I'm tired. Truth be told, my intention was to never wake up and say, you know what, I would love to be a YouTube commentator and talk about the culture war until the day I drop dead. No, that was not on my agenda. It just kind of happened that way. But what I have come to realize over the last couple of years is the vast majority of people who complain about the so-called culture war or the social decay we see in America, the vast majority of these people don't actually care about fixing the problem. You know why? Because They have contributed to the problem. And I know that's a very unpopular statement to make, but it's the truth. When you have a society of people doing what they think is right in their eyes, and you multiply that by millions of people, what do you think's gonna happen?
A lot of funny shit. But it didn't start. I'm afraid that I'm going to hear only one side of this. I want to hear that again.
Problem. And I know that's a very unpopular statement to make, but it's the truth. When you have a society of people doing what they think is right in their eyes, and you multiply that by millions of people, what do you think's gonna happen? We're all fighting for ideological dominance, essentially.
Yes, that's what's been going on since before I was gone. Or not gone, born. I don't know why I said gone.
And one set of ideas, or a worldview, I should say, is going to come out on top. And right now, it looks like that might be communism. Yay! I can't wait to starve to death with all my gulag friends. I'm just joking.
So look, I know you're joking, but you keep referencing this shit a little bit too much. What world do you think you, specifically, are going to end up in the gulag? Like, what is thought out by a lot of people when they say, we're all doomed. All right, but how? Because we're going to end up in, what's the word? Concentration camps. Okay, how? Are they all going to round us all up? And why are they going to round us all up? It takes a lot of work to get this done. This isn't a snap your fingers and let's get this going. But I wonder if anybody's seen the video of Trump saying, hey, we got to get a lot of motherfuckers in on these leftists.
No, seriously, but I am joking. You have to laugh at the situation. You just have to. You have to find joy in the little things instead of trying to pull your hair out at the state of our political, cultural mess that we're in. You just have to find enjoyment in the little things. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video is because while I am sick of the political commentary, I think
you're going to continue the political commentary. One's not truly sick of something they continue to engage in. They are only just bored of it for the moment, just so that they could get back into it.
It's important for people to consider what the future is going to look like.
Oh my God, what a motherfucking touchdown! Stiff arm to the fucking nines. I know y'all wasn't paying attention to me, but fuck, what a stiff arm that was to keep me in bounds.
Past this presidential election, because there seems to be this idea that if Trump wins, everything is going to be fine.
Who sold you on that lie? Where did you go to get the belief that, but you know where you went? I know where she went. She went to an echo chamber that allowed her to hear that. Who in the blue blazing fuck convinced my Gothics of this bullshit?
What do you mean by fine? I mean, I will admit that objectively, if we were to look at both political parties, sorry, third party, you're not in this battle, but if we were to look at
they'll never be in the battle.
You know, Democrats versus Republicans, Trump versus Harris, you could form a logical conclusion that one particular party is going to result in more damage or inflict more evil than the other. And again, just think.
Which one? Because the way I see it, they're both going to inflict damage.
Thinking from a logical perspective, based on the patterns of ideas which have come from each specific platform, I think it's important for us to consider what's going to happen past the election, because I don't know where people got this idea from, but America didn't start free-falling in 2019. Like, it didn't happen during COVID or during the George Floyd peaceful, fiery protest. I mean, if you were to compare what the American life was 100 years ago to now,
You weren't alive 100 years ago. And fuck, why don't we go back a little bit further, or a little bit further, or a little bit further? Why are we only segueing to only 100 years? Because somebody's going to create the conversation. Why don't we go a little bit further? And those people, I don't want to hear from those people at all. Those are not the people I would trust.
You can objectively look at both depictions and say, oh, wow, what happened? You know, so this wasn't an overnight thing. And therefore, to think that one specific candidate, everything's going to magically go back together or magically be right. No, that's honestly, I would argue that that's when the real work is going to start. Because if you think for 1 second that the political left is going to let Donald Trump win, you're out of your...
There it is.
Your mind. He may win. He may win, but you think they're going to go away? You think that, no, they're not going to go away. They're not going to stop. There is too much at stake for the Democrats to let Trump win the election. So you want to talk about crazy social society decay? Boo-boo, buckle up, because regardless of who wins, you're in for a wild...
You know what's crazy? When I said this, I was an edgelord. My indoctrination works. Just saying it straight and aggressive, it will be beat into you, whether you like the sensation of being beaten or not. You will learn that no matter what, you're fucked. You're gonna be paying, and you know what? I was nice about it. You're still gonna be paying taxes next year. The issues are still gonna be there. Then why vote if you think they're going to let him win? I think she meant like they're not going to let him win, which either way still creates the hilarious what the fuck. But I feel like she meant, oh, you think they're just gonna let him win? You know, you kind of gotta fucking vote. Are you telling me voting's pointless, Gothics? How dare you? It is my constitutional right to ignore all of this shit and not vote. How dare you impede upon my right to not bother with this shit at all.
Ride. However, nonetheless, I'm still going to vote. Yes, I am still going to vote, and I think you should too. If not for, preserving whatever reason we have left in the world, at least.
So if you're doing this and you're huffing about, yeah, we still got some of it, but not really. Why the fuck vote? Well, you're going to vote, but even though it's a little bit treacherous. Why vote? If you're just opening that can of worms, you should be inspiring people to learn about these candidates and telling them to go vote. The fuck? Why am I better at this?
At least for being respectful for the men and women that fought to preserve our rights in the first place, okay? Our government to give...
Yes, you're respectful to their fight for this, that... I'm not going to say you, because I don't think Gothics has ever said this. People want to fight for people's rights to vote, and we must preserve that because of what men fought for and all this shit, and what our forefathers fought for, that they want to restrict a certain group of people's right to vote. And no, I'm not referencing the illegal immigrants. I'm talking about the American women that are in this country. Yeah, you're doing a great job preserving what was fought for by the former. Ding, ding.
Even right.
Again, I don't think Gothics has ever said this. I'm speaking to the broader weird fuck that exists out there. I don't think Gothics has ever said that. I don't think Gothics has ever said repeal a women's right to vote. Matter of fact, I'm positive she ain't even bust that in her ecosystem.
Rights. That's a whole entirely different conversation. Hey, where do rights come from? Does it come from the government? How unfortunate. It'd be a shame if it just disappeared one day. Okay, I'm getting off track. Like I said, I love to ramble. It just happens. Okay, but I'm going to vote, and I'm voting for Trump. I mean, again, this should not come as a surprise to you. I've been very vocal about where I stand on this particular topic, but I am voting for Trump. Now, a lot of people, I've gotten some comments that wonder why, as a Christian, why would I vote for someone who is un-Christian-like? For those that don't know, I became a Christian almost 3 years ago. Prior to that, I was agnostic. The conversation
I didn't get the pick.
Of religion never even crossed my mind. Okay, so this is somewhat of a relatively new thing, but I can give you some perspectives that will maybe help you in the event that you're sitting on the fence and you're not sure who to vote for, or maybe you're not going to vote altogether. Maybe I can give you something that you can chew on as we move closer to this election.
All right, folks, if you're one of the people that's undecided or you're thinking about voting, but you might not vote for Trump, here's your perspective.
And maybe it will help some of the my brothers and sisters in Christ formulate their game plan for this political battle. Okay, again, objectively, if we were to look at both parties, one party is diametrically opposed to Christ. One party promotes everything that the Lord hates. Everything. I'm sure there are some nice logical policies that have come from the Democrats. Okay, I used to be a Democrat. I used to think I was a good person, and I'm sure that...
Might to think. So you thought you were a good person because you were... If you think you're a good person based on your political affiliations, I got some hilarious bad news for you. You still suck.
There are some nice things that they have proposed, but by and large, the Democrat Party is a party of doing everything that is evil in the Lord's sight.
Does Gothics know that the immigration bill was cut by the guy she's voting for? Does Gothics know that the shit regarding FEMA and the pay and the $750, does she know that there was something there that would have given more money to help people, but it was cut by Republicans. It's a pretty evil, not of God helping the people style thing to do.
If I were to vote based on the moral character of both candidates, then I wouldn't be voting for anyone. In fact, I would love for you to
I still endorse that. I still endorse not voting for either one of them.
show me which president we have had that was 100% obedient to the Lord. I would love to
My
know.
nigga
Where are you?
Obeezy!
Where are you? No idea. This person does not exist. I am not voting for
Obama,
a person,
save
and I'm
me.
definitely not voting for their moral character. I am
Save
voting
me.
based on the patterns of ideas that have come
Save
from a
me.
specific political party. Again, I am not a Republican. Like I said, I used to be Democrat, but I do not identify with any political ideology because what happens with these political labels?
I despise this line of thinking when you openly say you're voting for the Republican candidate. Like, I don't think that worked. I don't think that would work in the sense of trying to get people to realize you're not really like Republican-esque. Like, you can keep the political homeless thing, which is technically a label, but when you say that and then you go into one of the homes and like sit down and mark your territory, you're kind of putting yourself in that position. Like, if you were politically homeless, I'd argue that what you should be doing is not voting.
They change over time. It just ebbs and flows and it turns into something else. So what I like to say is I go where the truth is and I go where it is going to cause the least amount of damage for society. And that in this specific situation in 2024 would be voting for Trump. Now, with that in mind, I'm not voting for just one person. I'm voting for thousands of other people who are going to take office in DC. These people, Harris and Trump, they are both bringing thousands of people with them to impose their agenda into law. Again, I'm not looking at...
Do we want to have the call inside the house about Trump also doing the same thing?
Moral characters. I'm looking at what are the policies that these people are going to impose on the rest of society. For those that have decided not to vote because we need to strive for better. Okay, let's say you're a Christian, we have to strive for better. These are immoral. These are not God-fearing politicians. Listen, I agree with you. I understand. But from my personal view, and you guys can do whatever you want, all right? I encourage you to pray for wisdom, but you can vote however you like. Don't think that this is me forcing you to vote for Trump. No, do what you think is right. But I think that this comes down to a matter of strategy, okay? Do we want to be an incrementalist or do we want to be an immediatist? Do we want a perfect 100% righteous follower of God right now? Or do we want to incrementally put some of our people, the body of Christ, into government to fix the situation? Trump obviously has backtracked on a lot of his abortion stances, and I think a lot of it has to do with recognizing that a lot of women seem to think that it is their human right to murder their child. And so for the sake of not losing the election, thus losing thousands of other positions of influence, I understand why he backtracked.
So he's doing it to get people to believe in him. Oh, so he's being a politician. Right.
And a lot of Republicans have backtracked on their stance of abortion. Nonetheless, I am more of...
So they're lying to themselves to convince people to vote for them. Oh, that's Christ-like, baby. That's how we implement very slowly the values we want in society. Let's openly say what we want, but then when we realize there's a good majority of the public that's not for it, we lie and say, hold on, what we actually want to do is this. Do you believe me? I'd be a great politician.
An incrementalist while still trying to pursue the ultimate abolition of abortion, as just one example, one point. But honestly, I think the bigger thing that I want you guys to consider here, because I don't want to get into so many specifics of like
why not
the differences between each party and each policy.
Why not? That would be a better way to actually inform people on who to vote for. But that takes time and effort. Everybody ain't got that. Understandable. But when you want to try to give your outlook on it to maybe convince people to vote or vote for your side, or you just vote at all, you kind of have to get into the weeds of it all, because getting into the weeds of it all allows people to be more informed, even if it isn't in full detail. You can get people more informed to get them to start going and looking for the things they would need to in order to be more informed about said subject. See how easy that is in terms of making sure that in the grand scheme, you're informing people and also getting them to go vote? It's important to do such a thing.
I think there's one specific policy that I think should alarm any Christian who seems to be on the side of well, because Jesus is on the throne, I don't need to vote anyway, and, you know, I'll just share the gospel, and we should just stick to the gospel. And yes, the gospel is the most important thing. But can I tell you, my friends, that politics determines our ability to effectively share the gospel. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Equality Act, but it is a piece of legislation that I just learned that it has been sponsored by David Cicilline of Rhode Island. I'm from Rhode Island, and I was just like, I was shocked to read this, but then again, I also read that Rhode Island is apparently the safest state for LGBTQIA plus people, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, so Cicilline introduces this bill, and or sponsoring this bill, and I believe it has passed twice so far in the House, and I think it's going through the Senate now. And the Equality Act, it's so, you know, they're cute. Democrats are so cute. They love to use these words that are just so cute that appeal to everyone, but
yes, much like Republicans do it also. Do we need to fucking... Oh, well, no, because if you look at that Project 2025 shit, it's kind of a blatant fucking look at what they want to do. So it's not really cute. It's just direct at how they want to fuck over a lot of people.
Yeah, when you just peel back the layers, peekaboo, it's Satan inside. Yeah, that is the devil. It's so funny. Yeah, so the Equality Act has nothing to do about equality. What it is, it's a cute way of saying Christian persecution. Now, before I explain to you what the...
Did I hear the word persecution? Now, what is the definition of such a big word? Persecution is the systematic mistreatment of a group or individual by another group or individual. Hostility, ill treatment, especially on the basis of ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation, or political beliefs. So hopefully you give me an example of some kind.
The Equality Act actually entails. I want to just touch on this religious persecution, or specifically Christian persecution, because as we know, not every religion gets treated in the same way. But Christian persecution, why is this a thing? What do I mean by this? Well, if you know anything about history, if you've read the books I've recommended, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, you will know that when communists come to power, they will try to eradicate religion because they don't want any middleman between the state and the people. And so when I say that Democrats are opposed to everything that is right in the eyes of God, what I mean by that is that Democrats want to impose things that Christians are against. Obviously, if we understand the history of this nation, these people aren't going to attack Christianity from the front. No. They're going to go through a back door by enacting the so-called Equality Act to slowly erode the beliefs of Christians. And if we've read the Bible, we know that a lot of people will fall away from the faith, so we shouldn't be surprised by this. But that's what I mean by Christian persecution.
Oh, I don't have it on the screen.
Aims to expand federal civil rights protections to prohibit discrimination based on sexual or...
Oh, I pressed that fucking button. What the fuck did I just do?
Orientation and gender
I know
identity.
it was
would
me.
amend
I just
existing
didn't know
laws
what I
like the
did.
Civil Rights Act of 1964 to ensure that the LGBTQ plus individuals are protected from discrimination in areas such as employment, housing, public accommodations, education, federal programs, credit, and jury service. Now, let me just stop right there and say, well, I mean, this is nothing new, right? Every time you look at the news, there's a man getting arrested because he's exposing himself inside of a women's bathroom because he claims to be a woman, all right? There are men housed in women's prisons. There are men in women's sports. This is nothing new. But how does this directly affect Christians specifically? Well, the Equality Act explicitly states that the Religious Freedom Restoration Act cannot be used as a defense against claims of discrimination under the Equality Act. This would mean that if the Equality Act is passed, religious institutions and individuals could not claim religious freedom protections when it comes to refusing services like hiring or accommodations relating to LGBTQ plus individuals on religious grounds. You see the issue here? Instead of Christians centering their lives around Christ, you would actually have to center your lives around the LGBTQIA plus minus. There will be no religious exemptions, okay? And you know what I find so interesting about this? And again, because as I just explained earlier, the Democrats, they love to use these words that on a surface level, it appears very, cute, very welcoming. Equality Act. Kamala was recently on a podcast with Charlemagne the God. I hate that name, but she was on a podcast with this guy, and she was talking about how she grew up in the black church, and she works very closely with the church. Okay, and?
Because the black Hokage. Fuck, my bad. I did take that idea from Black Hokage. So fuck. So you're not wrong about why you thought that way. Just fuck, I didn't mean to press that button.
And?
I grew up in the black church. I grew up attending 23rd Avenue Church of God in Oakland, California. My pastor is Amos C. Brown of Third Baptist Church in San Francisco, California. I have throughout my career and as vice president and recently been actively engaged in the church and church leaders, not only so we can share in fellowship, but so we can share in what we can do together that is about supporting the community, the strength of the community, the cohesion of the community. I will always work closely with the church because I understand who our church leaders are and who the congregation is.
You can say you've been raised in the church. You can go to church. That doesn't mean anything. Are you?
Much like saying you were once not a follower of Christ, but now you are, that doesn't mean anything.
Obedient to the Lord. Do you follow Jesus? And what you will notice is whenever she talks about the church.
And also, I just want to take a moment back to the fucking, oh, you can't serve a LGBT, you won't be able to fucking refuse service because of religious reasons. There's something eerily almost similar to that, but it's not based around religious reasons. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's something that happened, I think, 2 years ago. It was this big thing that had to do with a lot of women. And because of a few laws in a couple of states, it made it difficult for doctors to even work on these people, which also led to a bunch of these motherfuckers having complications in their bodies, which led to a few of them dying. I wonder what that was. I wonder what that was. It was something so dramatic. I mean, like, it was a national fucking thing. This was abortion. Oh yeah, it was abortion. Okay, so that's not too far in the realm of these possibilities. So if, say, 98% of businesses chose not to hire LGBTQ people, would these people also get mad if they were to get support from the government for a majority of the things? And they're like, tis. You got to think about these half-baked, because the more you try to pencil them in, the more you try to catch these people in the lies that they choose to help spew. Because it's all good when you're able to judge and criticize and persecute your opposition, but then when it happens to you, it's a problem. Now, I don't think this should be happening in any regard. I don't think you should be persecuted for not wanting to serve a motherfucker who's a Christian, a motherfucker who's gay. I think that all comes down to the business and what they choose to fucking do. Because that slippery slope is hilarious to think about in the long run, because you'll have a motherfucking touchdown to boot, but you'll also have these people coming in and be like, oh, I don't want to serve you because you're white. I don't want to serve you because you're black. I don't want to serve you because you're Puerto Rican. Why does it matter who you're sleeping with? I don't really know what you're referencing right now. I don't really know what you're referencing right now.
She doesn't mention Jesus at all. It's almost like the church is just some community center for her. You know, it sounds almost similar to, what did she say recently about the Second Amendment? Oh, yeah. I've shot a Glock.
What kind of gun do you own, and when and why did you get it?
I have a Glock. I've had it for quite some time. And, I mean, look, Bill, my background is in law enforcement. And so there you go.
Have you ever fired it?
Yes. Of course I have.
You telling me that you shot a Glock does not remove any suspicion that you want to disarm Americans. In the same
Hold on, what is he saying?
way that you telling me you were raised in the church does.
Oh, okay. It's the same way Trump says all his things, and that doesn't really net me any comfort in what he could actually be doing. The slippery slope of not really trusting these people with full force goes both ways. Like, what one could say about Kamala easily could be said about Trump. Oh, he's saying things I don't necessarily agree with. Well, we know that. Oh my God, I fucked that up!
It's not tell me you actually love Jesus. Stop gaslighting, okay? Oh, I like to say gaslighting. Stop gaslighting, all right? You evil woman. So yeah, that's pretty much why I am voting for Trump this election. From my perspective,
I never really got clarity on that. So you're voting because Kamala said things that you don't really trust her on? And because of laws that are passing through the Senate? Or maybe won't even get passed in full? That's it? And you want to hope for the future and that the decision leads to a more Christ-like society. That's it? That ain't enough.
I think that if we have the ability to make our voice heard, utilizing the tools that we have the privilege to use, our vote, we should do it. And objectively looking at both parties, one party is going to cause a lot more harm than the other. Again, I understand that Trump agrees on abortion. He agrees on some of the things that we see the left promote. But to that extent that we see from the left, objectively,
Oh, so he does agree. He just doesn't do it as drastic.
it's not even the same. We should hold fast to what's...
Oh. Wait a minute. We know Trump's stance is on abortion. We know his fucking fellow workers' stances on abortion. We know this because he said it. We've known this because he made it abundantly clear. And when he did it, oh my God, what a monumental fucking dot. Oh my God, we having a back and forth brawl on this motherfucker. So we know that Trump had a stance on abortion and changed it primarily due to this dude losing out on potential voters. And we know he changed it to look good in front of them people. We know that. It's a fact. But you're still willing to trust him. But Kamala says, "Oh yeah, I got a gun." And that ain't enough. Did y'all see that fucking video of a voter who is of like, he don't really know if he won't vote or at least vote for Trump. And he wanted Trump to convince him to vote for him. And this motherfucker couldn't do. I need to find that, but I also need to lock in. 8 seconds left, I'm up by 4. 8 seconds left, I'm up by 4. Hold on, y'all gonna watch the magic happen. Y'all gonna watch the motherfucking magic happen on this motherfucker. Cause he trying to get that bitch down the fucking field. He trying to get that bitch down the field. Go get him. Fuck it, it's 3 seconds left. You gotta punch that down the field, homie. You gotta punch that down the field, homie. You don't punch that shit down the field, you in trouble. You punch that shit down the field, you in trouble. If you don't punch that bitch down the field, you in trouble. It gotta go down the field and nowhere else. It got to go down the field and nowhere the fuck else. Hike it. You can't throw it short. Come on. Come on. Get on the line. Pressure him. It's over. That's big game. That's how you win a game, boy. That's a motherfucking dodge. $10 million, y'all. Who I play the game? Ooh, 75% completion, 305 yards. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It good works. That's good eats. 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 Good ways. Good ways about it. Good ways about it. All right, I have to find that video. The video, it was recent. It was like something he did. He did some conference recently about this. I need to find it. Let's see. Trump made a stand. Damn. Kamala made a stand. Where are we going now? Yeah. Oh, this is the guy, but where's the video? I want the video. I need that video. I need that video. What the fuck? What the fuck? No, stop showing me clips of it. Give me the full thing. Here it is. Found it. I ain't gonna lie. There's so much. That's a bad look for Trump. This is another one. Like, I watched this and I'm like, no, just convince him to vote for you now, motherfucker. Don't do this ramble.
I am a Republican, no longer registered though. I want to give you the opportunity to try to win back my vote. Okay. Your, let me say, action and maybe inaction during your presidency and the last few years sort of, was a little disturbing to me. What happened during January 6th. And
I'm telling y'all, that's forever gonna be his black eye. January 6th is forever gonna be that man's black eye, no matter what. He's never going to be able to get out of that. He will never be able to get out of the black eye that was that. Because no matter what, he's the face of that forever. And as long as he doesn't clean that up some way, somehow, that's always gonna follow him.
The fact that, you waited so long to take action while your supporters were attacking the Capitol. Coronavirus, I thought the public was misled during coronavirus, and that many more lives could have been saved if we would have been informed better. And also people in your administration who don't support you. I'm curious how people so close to you and your administration no longer want to support you, so why would I want to support you? If you would answer these questions for me, I would really appreciate it and give you the opportunity. There's, your own vice president doesn't want to support you now.
Thank you, Ramiro.
So the people that don't support a very small portion, we have a tremendous about 97.
Bro, even if it's, you know what, I'm gonna just let him talk. I ain't gonna interrupt. I'm just let him talk.
A very small portion. We have a tremendous about 97% of the people in the administration support me. But because it's me, somebody doesn't support, they get a little publicity. The vice president, I disagree with him on what he did. I totally disagreed with him on what he did. Very importantly, you had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election, and that's why they came. Some of those people went down to the Capitol. I said peacefully and patriotically, nothing done wrong at all, nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. And when I say we, these are people that walked down. This was a tiny percentage of the overall, which nobody sees and nobody shows. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of thousands. It could have been the largest group I've ever spoken before. They asked me to speak. I went and I spoke. And I used the term peacefully and patriotically. If you look at the Democrats, what they say, you look at Maxine Waters and you look at Hillary Clinton. And
that is not how that's supposed to go. He should have did that 50 Ways from Sunday way better. And he didn't. And I don't know why. He can't just be like, all right, obviously I had something in mind with January 6th, which when you hear that, if Trump would have said that, that sounds terrible. I wanted it to be a moment where, you know what, we disagree with the verdict. There could have been a way to handle that better. And that's why this shit will still get brought up, because the motherfucker doesn't just say, yeah, that was an embarrassing fucking day. Like, if he says that, he'll get some people to fucking be like, all right, he is looking at it this way, he's doing it this way, but at least on some scale, he takes some responsibility for it. And I'll make the argument that could have won somebody's vote back. That could have won that man's vote back. But you saw his reaction. You saw that one lady in the fucking video. Her, right there, her.
There were no guns there.
She's hearing this shit like, what the fuck? None of this shit I'm hearing is true. And right. You lose voters like this. You don't win them, you lose them. And I would take the fucking bet. That ain't what he want. He don't want to lose voters. He wants to win the fucking election. People want to see him win the election. And who knows if he does or doesn't. But I know one thing. This lost him a couple votes. How many? I say 2. And motherfuckers be like, all right, that doesn't matter. Fuck them. If you an avid Trump supporter, you look at this shit and you should be a little bit embarrassed. It probably won't stop you from voting for that motherfucker. But if you don't look at this shit and be like, wow, he kind of just rambled his way past that. That's embarrassing. That's legitimately embarrassing shit. And shouldn't be something that gives you confidence in this motherfucker. But fuck, some people got confidence in him. That's how he's losing the, I was about to say Hispanic vote with this one. Yeah, fuck, I see him losing out on a couple voters because of that. Like, this man is literally up there on the stage saying, hey, I'm no longer a registered Republican. I would like for you to win my vote back. And he failed. He failed in such a way, I'm actually scared that he failed like that. But hey, motherfuckers are acting like Trump did all good throughout this entire... You know what's crazy? And I realized this a month ago. You notice ever since Biden's been gone out of this election, it puts a bigger fucking spotlight on Trump and his age and the shit he says and how it don't make no fucking sense when you hear him. Like, the fuck?
It don't correlate. Like at all. Like it just don't. And it's a worrisome thing for a lot of people because they want to have faith in this motherfucker as their leader, but they don't have it. They don't have it because this dude is not netting them a good reason to believe. They're not netting this man, they're not netting a good reason to believe in him. And some people will still do it, and they're well within their right. He never should have been a nominee. I'd make the strong argument that of all the people, it should have been Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis should have been the guy in this position, and I'd argue it still should have been him. But the reason it wasn't is because I think Trump announced he was running, and that kind of bookended his plans, which sucked for Ron. But when you think about it, knowing that this dude was running, like he wasn't losing. Like he wasn't losing. We can't have the guy that gets shit done. We have to have the old man. Yep. And that's your party. All right. I think overall, it all comes down to this. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? One side's going to cheer. The other side's going to claim somebody cheated. The cycle repeats itself over and over and over and over again until you can no longer see your own feet. Is that it? That's the analogy? I don't think that's the analogy. It's kind of a shitty analogy when you think about it. We're going to get his dipshit son as Vance's VP. I was kind of surprised. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it's probably stupid to have thought this, but I kind of did think that, is this motherfucker gonna make his son the vice president? Like, I thought that at one point, and I wasn't mad at myself for thinking it. But then when it's JD Vance, I was like, oh, pleasantly surprised. All right, people, go bother Chris. I'm done. Goodbye.